So we looked at an attack from the top of Kesa-Gatame. Now we're going to look at 3 different ways to escape the position. The escape that you choose will be determined in large part based on how your opponent is holding the position. We have this series of 3 escapes, and it's based on how my partner is reacting to me. In this first escape, my partner is holding his head too high, okay? And that's why I'm going to look to hook his head. The first thing I need to do in this position is protect my arm, right? We already learned some submissions from the top here, so that I know that if this arm is hanging, I can be submitted. So usually holding my hands together is enough to stop it, because if Conan reaches back, he has to separate my hands really fast before I make this around the back grip on his arm, okay? So he usually won't have enough time to do that. So what I'll do is I'll hold my hands together, okay? And then I'm gonna take my legs and pendulum them into Conan to generate rotation. And then I use that rotation to yank this elbow to the floor, okay? Like that. And it's perfectly reasonable to have to do that like several times, okay, if your opponent's holding you really tightly. So you might have to like bridge, spin, and then just repeat that until your elbow is free. Once I've got this elbow on the floor, I can separate my hands because I can't be arm locked from here. He has to get my elbow back before I'm at risk of the arm lock. And it's fairly easy for me to keep it on the floor. So I want to post on my partner's chin, and I raise my hand to the sky to keep his head up. I walk my legs out to the side, fold, and catch my partner's head. Now this leg is going to pendulum at an angle to knock my partner over, and I come up to my hand. I've got my arm around his arm. I do a Jiu-Jitsu stand-up and go directly to the shin on ribs armbar. And you'll notice that this is a common point for all 3 of the escapes from this position. They all begin with my freeing this elbow. Okay, if you can't free this elbow, you don't go forward with the escape. You sit in the position and you move and you wiggle and you bridge and you twist your body quickly to try and free the elbow. Once the elbow's out, then you can go to work, okay? So I free my elbow, okay? Hand on the face. I just want to keep Conan's head up. If it's up enough, I want to encourage that, okay? I want to run to the outside. The less flexible you are, the more you want to run your legs to the outside. Legs up, hook the head, pendulum with the back leg, hand to the mat, hook his arm, Jiu-Jitsu stand-up, right into the shin and ribs armbar, and we can finish from there. It just may be the case, and in fact it is the case, that my partner knows enough Jiu-Jitsu that he's not going to hold the position with his head up, okay? And if that's the case, I have to do something else. Just like I mentioned, all the escapes from here begin with that big twist to free my elbow. I won't attempt any of the escapes with my elbow still trapped on my partner's leg, okay? Sneak my elbow out, the head is down. I won't be able to hook his head, so instead I walk in and hook my partner's leg, okay? Now my back leg, I go toes in the mat and I push to get turned over and kind of drop Conan's head to the mat. I bring this arm out behind and then use both my hands on the mat to free my head. So my left hand is posted directly against my partner's neck so I can pull it out. Now I switch my hands. Right hand to Conan's head, left hand under his arm, make a harness grip, step my knee up high. Okay, I'll take my leg out to the mount, and now I'll do a chair sit to the back. So rock from one hip to the other. Okay, it's important to note that chair sit motion, I don't put my back on the mat. I stay on my hips the whole time. Okay, so I sit to my right hip, I roll across basically the top of my butt to my left hip. And now I'm on the back, ready to attack. Okay? So sometimes folks put their back to the mat during that back take. Okay? And when you do that, you're gonna make things really loose, and you're also gonna make your opponent really heavy such that you kind of like lift their whole body weight up over your body. In this escape, we're doing a bridge and roll, and I'm going to go to this escape when my partner's head is low and when my partner is trying to run away from me. Okay? So I free my arm, just like the previous escapes. Okay? And now, his head's too low for me to hook. And now as I try to walk in and step to hook his leg, he kind of walks away. And so he keeps the same distance. Okay? And so I'm not able to catch him. When that's the case, what I'm going to do is I'm still going to run my legs in as close as possible. And I'm just going to plant both legs next to my partner. And I'm going to do a bridge over my shoulder. So I'm bridging into my partner to begin the motion. So I'm here, bridge in. And then what I do is I roll all the way from one shoulder to the other. And I get up into kind of a weird side control, like that, kind of like a body lock side control. This looks kind of like a strength move, but this isn't a strength move if you're doing it correctly. Angle is really important here. The way to kill this and make it super heavy is to try and drag your partner over your body, okay? If you do it that way, it will be a strength move, and you'll either fail or you'll get it because you're much bigger and stronger than your opponent. What I need to do is bring my partner over my head. So I'm making this loop around his body, I bridge, and then I bring my partner here, okay? And by doing that, I load my partner up onto his own shoulders, okay? So I'm not lifting him up and you know, just manhandling his weight. I'm putting him on his shoulders and rolling him from one side to the other, okay? And then that's technically, you know, doable against even a larger person. This is probably my go-to escape from this position, and I've certainly done it to people bigger than I am. Hands together, make sure I free my elbow first. His head's too low for me to hook his leg. I run in, he's running with me, so I just plant my feet bridge and keep rolling all the way through. Okay? And then I come.